Mais pour l'instant,
Mais écoutez, moi je vais pas aller dans les... Ce n'est pas Boko Haram qui a attaqué. Je dis bien, ce n'est pas Boko Haram. Boko Haram n'est que le nom qu'on utilise, comme on utilise le nom de l'Ukraine aujourd'hui, pour dans les attaques au Mali, dans les attaques, n'est-ce pas, un peu de partout. Je dis, ce n'est pas Boko Haram. Il y a des soldats français chassés du Sahel, c'est-à-dire chassés du Mali. L'opération Barkhane avait près de 8000 hommes au Mali. Près de 8000 hommes. Ceux qui sont rentrés en France étaient moins de 3000.
Families, welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this is your first time, my name is Mambi and you are very welcome. I'm sure you are thinking, what is going on here, French? What are we hearing? I intentionally played that part in French in case somebody understands it, so they will know what is going on. Yes, this is one of our brothers. I got this video last week, trying to work on it, listen to it. I'm still shocked of the things that I was hearing, big revolutions that were coming out. Even though some of them we know, some of them we have no idea. Yes, the video itself is long. I managed to make it like 10 minutes or so. I don't want to talk much. Families, let's listen to this video and I'll be back. Credit to Ocean TV for sharing this wonderful revolution, I will call it, with us. Thank you, families. I'll be back.
But for now I'm not going to go into the less. It's not much to rank who attacked. I'm saying it's not Boko Haram, but isn't the name that's being used in the same way as the name of Ukraine is being used today in attacks in Mali, in attacks all over the place? I say, it's not Boko Haram, there are French soldiers driven out of the Sahel. Operation Barkhane had nearly 8,000 troops in Mali. Nearly 8,000 men. Less than 3,000 people returned to France. Fewer than 3,000 returned to France, and fewer materials came back because we'd said they had to transit from Niger, Chad and Cameroon. It was the corridor, but it was the corridor. You see, we saw all the equipment that transited. It was never the equipment that was in the Sahel, i.e. Mali. So this equipment has disappeared. Between Niger, the Chad and Cameroon are out there somewhere. Soldiers who were due to return to France have disappeared somewhere, because you can't tell us where they went first from Mali to Niger, nearly 8,000 men. The soldiers who left Niger for Chad, who were supposed to embark from the French military base in Chad, were 1,500. I'm nearly 8,000 who were in the Sahel, 1,500 kid Niger to come to Chad to embark, the others went where? In fact, Niger made a big deal of asking where the other soldiers had gone. Wasn't it the French who were on the base who were relocated from Mali to Niger? So there were air evacuations? No, sir, we didn't see any of that. Second more graphic thing, the American base. Did you know that the Americans were chased out of Chad? And although they have the tasks, it's been said that Russian instructors have arrived in Chad, so it was a terrible affront from the president of the elected Republic of Chad. In other words, the Americans had to leave and the instructors had to come over from the Russian insulators immediately, and so it was just on the eve of the presidency. But, of course, today we have to give him a little hammering to try and influence him. Mr. President of the Republic of Chad, you have launched this operation. See it through to the end, and I think that one of the current objectives. It's to be part of the French base in Chad. And I think it will be a successful battle for you. Start fighting this battle and you won't have the problems we have in Chad today. Thank you André Christel Fanga. We remind you that since the Lake Chad conflicts, President Mahmoud Ibis Debitno, who is overseeing the operation in Scanet, has declared a 3-day national mourning period starting at 0000 on October 29, 2024. On November 1st, the national flag will be flown at half-mast. All festive activities are forbidden during this period. Time at Alola Hassan. Is it necessarily a foreign hand? Do you also get the impression, from the reactions of your listmates, that this is a test for President Mahmoud Debitino. Allow me, Mr. Gunnet, on behalf of the Togolese diaspora, Togolese civil society and the Pyramid Movement, which I chair, to present the following. Our condolences to valiant forces from the Chadian army, to Christians, and also to President Mahmoud Deby for these barbaric attacks. In any case, to these 40 valiant soldiers who have fallen or fallen on the Hotel of Freedom, the integrity of Chad and the security of this country, it has long been plunged into war, violence and destabilization. They are the means, the instruments in the hands of neo-colonial powers. They believe that their future depends on the Tao that must be kept in Africa to destabilize African countries, to keep them in a failed state so as to be able to better monopolize a reflection of the country and feed. Isn't it the center of Western capitalism for the good of their own people? It's dramatic. But it's also a time for us to redouble our efforts, our commitment and our energy, and to strengthen our position. As you can see, the security, economic and social links between countries have finally had a taste of all these foreigners, all these violent predators who see nothing but chaos, violence, war and destabilization. I think it's an ordeal for the Chadian people, but beyond the Chadian people, it's all the people of Africa who are under attack. But we know that the courage, determination, resilience and fighting spirit of the Chadian people will rise to this challenge. I therefore welcome the President's approach. Idris Adobe, who is a Tino, who came to the scene to support the forces of order, but at the same time, launching an operation, isn't it to be able to track? It's bandit, it's violent to whom somewhere they are equipped, instrumentalized at the top, death and the word of isolation on the African continent. The Chadian people have always shown this resilience. I think it's important to remember that the frontline pastor spoke earlier about this Boko Haram affair. Was instrumentalized, we saw how, thanks to President Defun Idris Deby, how he routed. Precisely with the other countries, this terrorist organization which became a completely extinguished hearth with the rise in power of the Sahel. And above all, it should be noted, the President's manifest will is another way of not serving, is it not a knife? And not to serve as penguins, isn't that a channel for this wicked, murderous knife? That France wanted to use first within the framework of ECOWAS to attack countries from Niger and Mali, since it was he who was designated at ECOWAS level as the spokesman for this decision, but then to also serve as a rear base, isn't it for destabilization operations? He didn't lend himself to this game. He understood that, Ben, the Westerners, their mechanism, their way is not changing. They'll lean on one side or the other, but then it's your turn. He's understood. And through its policy of Pan-Africanism and independence too. And we bring the eyes back to the old destabilization mechanisms. And so we reactivate Boko Haram to be able to send him signals. So, if he doesn't want to obey the eye like a vassal, Ben himself will be in the eye of the solar storm. A neo-colonialist plan to destabilize Africa, engineered by yesterday's imperialists, colonizers and slavers. Mr. Nguyen, did you know that last week, a ship was boarded in the port of Dakar simply to refuel? And this is an opinion that was not. That the cargo is unidentified but full of ammunition, weapons and the like. To those who the marshes, who drove this ship are of Ukrainian origin, we wondered where to this cargo goes to. And it is to feed somewhere all the bases hidden around the ARS for these terrorists to swear chaos and desolation. It seems to me today that we need an answer, a Pan-African answer to this question. From chaos on the African continent, he is thinking of identifying this small finance, the terrorist space. The logistics, as I've just seen, pass through the port of Dakar, and we've been able to identify 7 ships carrying ammunition to feed these terrorists. So we need to identify where the logistics are coming from. We also need to identify the endocolons, the Africans who are taking part in these destabilization strategies. Well, all these people need to be documented and answered. Isn't this adapted to the threat and definitively eliminated? Isn't this the threat on the African continent? So that means Pan-Africanism, the strengthening of countries, so that we either get out of the colonial ENCO that constitutes somewhere. A Western process, their preferred domain? They say to themselves, it's my property since the Berlin Conference, it's my property and I can do what I want. If I can't, I can have chaos, I can have desolation, suffering and war, and that's how I can take over. And I bring with me underdevelopment and suffering and misery. That's what France's software is all about. So, somewhere along the line, we're going to have to come up with a global response. Isn't it precisely at the level of redefining our territories, i.e. expanding the AES towards Chad, towards the center traffic towards Cameroon, towards a certain number of countries so that it pays for the counterterrorism devices, against Tao? The counter-destabilization is also pan-Africanized and in a global way. Individually, each country, each government, it would be very difficult because they are in a strategy, they isolate, they attack, they destabilize and then they move on to the other. So on top of that, the other response is a global, mutualized, tactical and strategic response, as well as operational maneuvers.
Yes, families, you heard it all. I'm so shocked. Like, this video is just 5 days ago or so, that there's still ships coming, dropping weapons. And the revolution about the army that left in Niger and Mali, Burkina Faso. I mentioned this some time ago, maybe a year or 9 months ago, that the way they were going, it seems to me like they are not going anywhere. I think I even mentioned Chad. So I'm surprised that people have evidence they are still in the area. And don't forget that many of the French army are blacks. They are Africans. It's intentional because it depends on where they will send you so you can blend in. They can be our own. They can move that uniform and be walking among us. This is serious. It's very, very serious. So I thought, let me share it. And when he said that, well, when the Togolese said that, I said Togolese, I'm sorry, our brother, because I didn't get their names. When he said that when you don't do their will, this is what they will do to you. We all know that yesterday I was watching President Ibrahim Traore at the tour, the cycling tour, and my heart was beating for him. You can tell he was there watching, but he himself, his body language is alert, very alert. And it's not supposed to be like that because he likes sports. He's supposed to enjoy it. Anyway, the video is long already. The enemy is still alive and well. And that's why I'm happy that they are getting more ammunition ready. When it comes to that, they will face them. One of our family member, I want to say brother, but I don't know whether it's brother or sister, was saying that this, what is going on now with the terrorists, is great because it will make the Sahel strong military-wise. It will make them strong. Thank you, families. I don't know what you take from this video, your ideas, anything. If you come across anything, please leave comment. Let all of us learn from you. The ships are coming, as they say. It's scary, but they are coming, and they don't want to stay away. Credit to Ocean TV. I said that already. My family, my kings and queens, I will leave you here. God bless you all. I'll be back with more news. See you soon. Bye-bye.